Alright everyone, so tonight is a little bit of a special review, and the reason for that is because tonight is the first night that I'm using my new microphone. Usually in my past videos I've just been using my webcam mic and it doesn't have the best sound quality, so hopefully you can really see a difference in this video from the previous ones. I know I'm excited about reviewing many movies with this new mic that's right below my mouth. Well, this past weekend I was with my dad, and it was actually my birthday, and we were wondering he was wondering what's a good Nazi movie that we can watch. There are a lot of Nazi movies, of course, from back in the day, but a lot of them are just not that great or forgettable. And I said, well, let's watch Manhunt. Fritz Lang, he is one of my favorite directors, and you really can't go wrong with the Fritz Lang movie. So we got out Manhunt, and that's tonight's movie review. Manhunt, it came out in 1941. It stars Joan Bennett. Really the main star is Walter Pidgeon and George Sanders, who of course people should know that I really love him. So George Sanders, and actually a really early appearance of Roddy Mcdowall. This was actually Roddy McDowall's first Hollywood film. He went from Europe over to the States to take refuge because the war was breaking out and London was being attacked, basically. And at this point, it's important to note that the U.S. was not at war with anybody yet. We were not in World War II yet, but I'll get to all that. So George Sanders, one thing to note about him in this movie is he has amazing German, and it's like you would never know that George Sanders can speak such great German, and it's really impressive because he plays a Nazi officer. He plays the bad guy, basically, and Walter Pidgeon is just a British citizen who is world famous for hunting big game. He's a world famous hunter. And so the plot of the story is the intro of this movie is actually one of my favorite intros in all movies, or action movies at least. It's so unforgettable. Walter Pidgeon is on a mountainside and he crawls to the edge of a cliff, and then he looks through his snipe. You might be thinking, okay, maybe he's hunting animals or something. He puts his scope on and he sees Adolf Hitler. And there aren't a whole lot of movies that actually have somebody impersonating Hitler from back then. And honestly, the guy who was playing Hitler in this short scene, he really looked like him. So it's such a cool scene. He puts the scope on and you're wondering, oh my gosh, is he going to take the shot? And at first he pulls the trigger, but nothing comes out. So obviously there was no bullet in the gun. And then he decides, well, wait a second, maybe I should take the shot. He puts another bullet in, but of course before he can take the shot, he's taken down by a Nazi. So the movie starts to revolve, well, the movie's name is Manhunt, so obviously he's going to be able to escape from the Nazis, and it's all about him getting back to London where he thinks he'll be safe. But I won't go into too many of the details of the movie. It's a little bit of a complex story, but he gets back to London and he realizes, oh, I'm not safe because the German Gestapo secret police is still chasing him there. In fact, of course, George Sanders somehow finds a way to get over to London and get him. But I won't give the end away, of course. I don't want to do that. But when he comes back to London, he bumps into, or I should say, Joan Bennett's character saves him from doom, I guess you could say. But Joan Bennett's character is real sweet. She plays kind of this crude British girl who has she isn't very well spoken, And actually, she reminds me of the girl in Pygmalion with Leslie Howard. You know, the girl where Leslie Howard, he's teaching her how to speak proper English. And so that's kind of what her character is like. And of course, there's a little bit of a love going on between Joan Bennett and Walter Pidgeon. And it's just a real sweet relationship. And this is one of several Fritz Lang and Joan Bennett films. They're one of my favorite duos in Hollywood history. Obviously, my profile picture on YouTube is Joan Bennett in Scarlet Street, so obviously I do have a lot of love for her, and especially in Fritz Lang movies. I actually have a very early picture of Joan Bennett. You can see in this picture she had blonde hair at the time. And it's titled Joan Bennett's Portrait by Hurl, The Shot Heard Round the Town. So it was this was one of her earlier portraits. It's the only Joan Bennett portrait that I own. But this movie was a little bit controversial at the time because Fritz Lang really portrayed Nazis as being these really bad, evil guys, and Hollywood was worried that that people were going to start to think, oh gosh, all Germans are bad. And since the U.S. wasn't at war yet with Germany or even Japan at the time, this movie really feels like a pro-go-to-war movie. It's like really pushing you to go to the citizens of the U.S. to want to go to war with the Nazis. And that made this pretty controversial. In fact, Daryl Zanuck, the producer of the film, he was so worried that that Fritz Lang's really poor, bad feelings towards the Nazis would interfere with his judgment. So he literally banned him from entering the editing room. But Fritz Lang was able to find a way to go to the editing room anyways and make the movie that he really wanted to be seen. I'm going to give this movie 3 stars, and it loses a star largely due to the ending of the movie. Now, the ending of the movie definitely ends too fast, for one thing, and it's just like the most obvious enlist now, let's go fight the Germans, pro-war ending, and it really loses that really war thriller, I'm watching a really great movie feeling. It's like, oh, there we are back to those propaganda movies, and it was really cheesy, and I was pretty upset with the ending. I had seen this movie before, and my dad felt the same way. We felt like the movie could have ended a lot better. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for the movie. I hope you are enjoying the sound quality of the mic. Hopefully it's a lot better than the webcam. But I'm not sure what I'll review next. You can always recommend things down in the comments. Please subscribe if you're liking the review so far, and good night, guys.